Is it okay? Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, indeed, now we will stream data here to this session to show a little bit of the prototyping that we have been doing this week. And I must say it has been really great to work with this kind of way of sitting hacking. At the same time, we have the experts talking about interesting things, and it's possible to ask people about the ontologies and stuff like that. So it's really great, and I think this concept should be explored more. Also, I think that coming from outside the ontology community, as a software engineer, I think we can do more when bringing together people from outside, and also work how we can boost the ontologies also. So I'm really happy about this this event. So I'm Andreas, and I'm going to present now a few things. So Basajaun project, as you have seen me coming here and talking about this supply chain thing that we need to digitalize so that we can.
Sorry to interrupt. Apparently you need to mute your own computer because you're being heard twice online.
I think we already fixed it.
You fixed it?
Yeah,
okay.
But check for, just to be sure, because I saw that, yeah. So I hope that you have a good sound and no echoes anymore. So the Basajaun project, as you see, it spins around there on the screen. It's a very challenging project when it comes to interoperability because we're covering a whole supply chain, and this is, we need to do that. We need to cover the data flows between the actors to be able to take more responsibility for the environment, measuring different indicators, especially looking at different CO2 targets and where the energy goes and who has responsibility for the different environmental aspects. So I will today I will show you a little bit of the Basajaun data. You can see the building they're spinning around on the nice video. This is the real building we have built now in France, and I will load this model specifically now and work with it a little bit to connect it to ontologies. Then before that, I want to tell you a little bit more about the journey that we had before coming here. I have been participating as a demonstrator in the OntoCommons project, also with the ICF. We have been working in the Ready project, and there we have been working on very similar things, streaming data from manufacturing. And I can just show you a little bit of the prototyping here we have done with streaming manufacturing data coming in. A lot of instances going on here in a supply chain, manufacturing chain, and these are all batches representing the manufacturing flow for polycarbonate sheets going from the raw material to the building roof components. So as you can see, there are many nodes that needs to be loaded at all time. And another more maybe intuitive view of this is the flow looking from this perspective. So we you can see now that all the instances are loaded, but they are shown in a flow from the left to the right in the supply chain, going through the actors in the supply chain, and where we can see how much of the raw material going in to further into the pipeline, and also what's going out in waste and in repurposed material for the circular flow. So this is super interesting and a very intuitive way to look at this kind of manufacturing flow for circularity. Going back now to the other more maybe familiar for you, with the node, the graph visualization, we can see here how we are drilling down in these instances that represents the batches of material to check on the semantic connections. And here we are showing the specific connection we are doing from these instances into the ontologies. So for this polycarbonate instance, you can see what it is. So it's a sheet for a recycled batch on the application level, and then we are connecting it into the supply chain ontology of IOF. And further on, as you know, this is connected to the BFO ontology. And then on the other side, if we are following it now, the same instance on the other side, we are now connecting to the IP ontology that we heard Tervel talk about here before. So we are actually looking at this instance from the two perspective and chaining this IP asset that comes from the legal ontology back into the IOF supply chain and the IOF core and the BFO ontology. So what I wanted to do during this week is actually to work with the Basajaun building to see if I can do something similar. And for that, we are using the platform in Basajaun that you can see here. I'm just going to join. It's called Wood Launch, and this is what I'm promoting this week. It's a live streaming platform for node-based data and semantic data that we are using for people that doesn't know what ontologies are. So basically, we need to discuss with them about semantics from the very beginning. So what we are doing is that we are loading nodes on a canvas in real time, so everyone can send nodes to the canvas and then examine the different connections. So if we have some presets as well, so we are presetting it with forest theme, so everyone feels comfortable coming from the wood supply chain then. And yeah, then we can look at it in 3D with these cute 3D models, and everyone knows what a thing should be. And looking at, for example, then we are working with a downstream relationship to see how we are sending things along the chain. But then we, of course, are showing some properties and agreeing on what kind of properties do we want to cover. So as you're sending these nodes and these properties, it will update in real time. So we can play around a little bit and see how we feel about it. And of course, then everything is connected to with semantics because this is linked data. So everything has a type and a namespace and so on. So we can work with it and then formalize it maybe in another tool for ontologies if we want. So going from this now into the playground and using this platform for the exercise for this week, I'm loading the buildings from Basajaun into these nodes, and there are two buildings, the southern and the northern building. Let me see. It's a little bit tricky because I'm having another device to send the data from, so that's why you cannot see what I'm clicking. But I'm sending the signal, and then it's loading in this application here. So that's why I look a bit confused where I should click. But if everything works now, we will load. Yeah, we will load the buildings. So these are CAD models then, and here you can recognize now the data that the building that you see here on this video. So it's exactly the same model that you can see, but it doesn't look really that nice here in this environment, but that's because of the rendering, of course. Yeah, so what I did now is that I wanted to break this building down into the semantic components, and then I can see if I can load now the different parts of the building like this, and what it is. And then I need to reload and sort the building on the 3D data on their nodes. And this takes a little bit of time now, because now we have to split the building and move it to the right position. So you have to bear with me here. And I will also show you now something very interesting that you might not see if you're just looking at this small, tiny building. It looks like not much, but it's still loading. But I can show you this discrete accessory here, and of course I have to load one of the buildings that are not that big, because if I take another building, it would definitely not work. Let me see now. So I know that soon it will start to react again to you, and we will go down to see at the discrete accessories. It's really like if you're looking at something, but you do not see it, but it affects everything so much. So here are all the bolts in the structural model for the southern building, and the northern building is like 100,000 or something like that. So I cannot load it actually, but these are super small bolts. And we are loading all of them, and we have a lot of instances here. So it can be kind of interesting to see how many instances we have and what type it is. Looking at this again, we can actually load the IFC ontology and try to map now the instances on top of that. So if I just remember what button I should click here, I will load like that. I see something happen, but you can see the log here, what happened. So I loaded the file, the turtle file into the application, and I want to show now the all the classes. Yeah, so the IFC is the ontology. I wish it was easier. I wish they could clean it up a little bit to only use or split it up something so that we use what's most common, because these are all the classes and there are thousands of them. And I think this is not even all the classes, but now I want to do the experiment to actually feed the instances on the classes with extrusion, so I can see where we have stuff. So you can see now there are some columns coming up from the classes. Yeah, so it's animating there, and I have one there. It's really huge, and I already know which one it is. It's the most infamous class in IFC. It's the building element proxy, which means that put everything here that you don't want to know what to do with, and then you have no semantic connection at all. So that is what happens with the CAD software. They are horrible at exporting the stuff properly, which is bad. So I hope that we can fix this in the industry in the future to really make proper semantics into the models so that we can fix this. So the last thing is to actually now load the ontologies and connect them to the chain like we did in the Ready project, going back up to the supply chain and the BFO. Actually, I've just found a paper Barry Smith advised me yesterday from that Hedy was involved to how this mapping has already been done. So I have to change everything. So now I changed it, but I didn't connect to the supply chain ontology, but I will load it so you can actually see it. So I think we just clear the screen now because it's a little bit bloated. And what I will do is I will load all the instances of the same building. No, all the instances of the facade of the same building, of the southern building. Yeah. So these are the instances, and this is of course not very useful. But I can go up now the metadata like the hierarchy up in the subclasses. So if I I have to load the ontology as well because now it didn't find any connections. So if I load the IFC and I load the supply chain ontology, you can see now that you have some clouds of the instances, which means that they are grouping around their class. And somewhere in here, I can see a blue one. It's the IFC class, but of course, I can take a small one here. Here's the IC curtain wall, and there are the instances going around. And I will just click a little bit more in the to go up the hierarchy, class hierarchy, so I can get up to see if I can find. You can see the namespaces or the prefixes are loaded here in the from the file. I think we better go up one more level. So far, no crash. That's good. It's not very easy to find it, but okay. Let's click one more time, and I hope to see the green one there from BFO coming up now, because we are chaining it back now in the IFC hierarchy, and so basically working with this cloud in the center somewhere, there would be. Here it is. So yeah, here you can see the hierarchy. We're going from material entity. Hey, don't move away. Yeah, to the IFC element, which is a very abstract form of thing that is a material entity, and then into the IFC building element, and then further down the hierarchy. So the last thing, I didn't really have time to do it, but I want to do this, and I have expert help, and I'm so happy about it. Also talking with Farhad with the supply chain ontology. So if I load that one, it's freezing up. Well, here it is. So I can now see that I loaded all the classes that we are not using outside of this cloud, these clouds. And then here are the orange ones. These are the classes from the supply chain ontology. And of course, now it's an interesting thing to look at the building model and figure out in the context of supply chain, how do we apply the supply chain ontology to the building when it's in flux, because it's like construction basically. So things are moving around, and then at some shape in time, we will fix the building, and then it's detached, I guess, from the supply chain, or if it's maybe going to be hooked into a circular flow in the supply chain or something like that. So this will be very exciting to continue to examine. So I'm not sure in time how I am. I'm probably late, but I'm done anyway. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Andreas. Thank you.